You know what? I'm pretty impressed. You picked one hell of a good game last time.
What can I say, man? I'm a bit of a genius when it comes to this stuff.
Look, I may not be an expert when it comes to picking games, but man, I'm telling you, this is one hell of a good one.
Look, man, I didn't know what you were looking for, so I just looked through the shelves and I thought, you know what? That was a perfect game for you.
You know what? Hey, how about I pick the next game? Like, I think I can come up with a great choice of game for the next one.
Okay then, well if you got a good choice, then let's see it.
Okay, I'll have a look-see over on my big-ass shelf. What to pick? Ooh, this is a good one. Crash Team Rumble.
Really? Really? Crash Bandicoot?
It's Crash Bandicoot. What more do you want?
You know for a fact Activision doesn't give a fuck, right?
What? You're looking for a compelling story? This is Crash Bandicoot! This isn't fucking Call of Duty!
Well, excuse me, Mr. Game Critic, being like, this game's shit, but this game's good, blah, blah, blah.
You know for a fact that the last time COD was relevant was a decade ago, right?
Look, if I could knock your ass out.
God damn, sometimes I don't understand you.
Bruh, look at you. You look like MJF's dumbass cousin.
Probably helps if you're wearing a mask. Fucking hell.
Have you ever had those franchises growing up where you are pretty much attached to them? Like they are your franchise. The series that you just want to love so much all the time, but yet sometimes it can have failures that kinda will piss you off a little. For some it may be Mario, for some it may be Spyro, for some it might be Sonic, some might even say Little Big Planet. For me, that was Crash Bandicoot. Well, I didn't grow up in the heyday of the franchise of the PS1. Well, with me being born in 2001. Yeah, that's a long time ago. I think it's safe to say that Crash Bandicoot has become one of my favorite franchises. From remasters and the remakes that we've recently gotten, to the games of the past that some people may want to forget, but I choose to remember. Games like Tag Team Racing, which wasn't that great, but it was fine enough. And even Boom Bang, which legitimately was kinda shit, but it's what we had. As kids, we value the games more than anything else, and sure, some people may feel like, oh god, that was a terrible idea, but we were kids at this era, and no matter what, we still played it, and we still loved it. Even if it was a pain in the ass to deal with. Now, the Crash Bandicoot franchise has had definitely a bit of a resurgence over the last few years. I mean, you had Insane and Nitro Fueled come out, sparking the hope for a new game, and then we got it in Crash 4, and it was a banger! So, the idea of a new Crash spin-off, something wholly original, something brand new, we were definitely unsure of when it was first announced, especially considering the fact that the trailer gave us nothing to work with. But let me be perfectly honest to say it, Crash Team Rumble is probably one of the most fun multiplayer games currently out there. And that's saying something. In an age where multiplayer games are a dime a dozen? How does this game stand out from the crowd? Well, how about we talk about it? Because I think this is one of those games that over time will grow to be something big, but for now, it's definitely an interesting start. First up, I will say, probably the biggest problem with this game at launch is the price to get in. And by God, it's overkill for the price. I mean, 45 Australian dollars to get the base game. And then 65 Australian dollars to get the deluxe edition. Like, for a multiplayer-focused, online-only game? $65 is a bit too much. I will say that much. Now, granted, it is cheaper than a lot of major releases out there, with most of them nowadays costing like $100 to $120 here in Australia, but man, it still kinda stings when this game is an online-only, multiplayer-focused game that realistically could have been free to play with an online shop and paid battle pass and sort of thing. But Activision's trying something different, and look, the game's gonna go into PlayStation Plus or Xbox Game Pass soon enough anyway, so for the time being, it's a pain in the ass, but I think we can deal with it. I mentioned multiplayer and online only, and yes, this is a multiplayer-focused action, brawler, platformer, collectathon game. Yeah, the genre's really confusing for it, but there's definitely a lot here to keep you playing. From battle passes to characters you can unlock, you know, all the good stuff for a typical multiplayer game, and, well, it is a multiplayer game. You are definitely expected to try and unlock this stuff, so that you can look cool instead of having that default. I mean, look, if Fortnite can get away with it, and if Fall Guys can get away with it, Activision can get away with it no matter what. Even if they do it on COD, and, well, COD's kind of a bit worse because they have loot boxes. This doesn't, but it's still a pain in the ass. The character selection is definitely up there in a pretty damn solid way. All the classic characters you want. Crash, Tawna, Coco, Embryo, Ned Cortex, and fucking Entropy. Seriously, you got everybody you want. Well, we all know what the fuck Catbat even is, but, well, it's a newcomer to this franchise, and, well, at this point, anyone new will confuse the hell out of everyone, so, yeah, but Crash has always been known for introducing random characters and spin-offs. Just look at Ripperoo and fucking Crash Bash. Seriously, who remembers Crash Bash? That game was great. Well, I never played it. Yeah, I'll check eBay later. There is a lot of cosmetics available, and by a lot, I mean a lot. Like, there is so many cosmetics you can get for this game, it's kind of ridiculous. But of course, a lot of them are currently locked down via the Battle Pass, and, well, the Battle Pass is a bit of a pain in the ass. However, if you do have the Deluxe Edition, you do get some of the Battle Pass tiers unlocked for you, so that at least does help. And for those like me who purchased the physical edition, you do get a code to get some retro skins, which, man, gotta say, I love this little Atari 2600 looking Crash. I kinda love them. Now, before we get into the game, I need to mention a major fucking complaint. Load times. And no, I'm not talking about load times in the sense of, oh, the game has loads of things. I mean server load times, because Jesus Christ, I've had a few instances where it took ages to load into a match. And sure, some of it might have been my fault with not installing the bloody content updates, but why do we need these content updates in the first place? I get it's an online focused game, but shouldn't there be, when you're in the server waiting, a little message popping up saying, hey, there's a content update, instead of having to wait for ages to think, oh, I'm not gonna get into the damn server. Like, come on, Activision, that is one of the most fundamental things in an online multiplayer game, and you fucked it up. Not to mention how some players' copies were bugged so that, well, they couldn't access the game, which, yes, it's a pain in the ass, but, well, what do you expect? I mean, the most notable example of it was Rickster, and, well, then again, he covers shovelware on his page, so it's like, it's a bit of karma for him. But overall, these kind of issues kind of make it hard to get into a game, even after launch. And sure, I imagine they will be patched over time with free updates and that kind of thing, but come on, if you can't launch your game at tippy-top speed, fucking hell. So now we ask the question, what about the game itself? Well, surprisingly, it's great! As I mentioned earlier, the genre mix is weird, but I think it works out in a pretty damn good way. The gameplay is solid, and it's very damn effective, being, well, a collectathon, where you have to collect all the Wumpa fruit, and then pop it over to your goal and, well, score the points. Sure, it may seem a little weird of an idea, but you know what? I think it works pretty decently. The brawling part is a little bit hit or miss. Most of the time, I can't even get KOs, but I think the brawling side of things is pretty decent. You've got multiple options and multiple everything, and I think it's pretty solid. But overall, I mostly just like to grab all the Wumpa fruit and score for the team. I mean, that's kind of an easy thing to do, and sure, you kind of need to brawl as well to try and stay top to toe with the competition, but, well, it's pretty easy to learn and pretty easy to figure out, and gotta say, I really like the direction the game went with for it. Overall, the gameplay is probably some of the strongest in a multiplayer title we've seen in a long time, and also even including something like Stadium Stampede. Even if Stadium Stampede is not actually here yet, I just wanted to make mention of it because it's Stadium Stampede in a video game, what the hell? The map variety is pretty solid, I'd say. Definitely some pretty unique style maps out there so far in the launch window. From some pretty basic, well, maps, to some pretty creative ones. Like, I gotta say, I'm really impressed with the map direction that this game went with, and I'm pretty impressed with all the power-ups, cosmetics, and overall, everything about the personality of this game is just perfect. It's a classic Crash-style experience, and sure, it has a little modern coat of paint and that kind of thing, but it works pretty well. Only one little problem though, there's only one mode so far, and that's this collection mode. I mean, yeah, it's a good mode, but wouldn't it be nice if we had some more modes, like a domination style mode, a capture the flag style mode, or even a proper team deathmatch? Or even a standard deathmatch. But the point is, there needs to be more modes added over time to keep the game fresh, but so far, I think it's safe to say this game has been a really fun ride. So overall, Crash Team Rumble, what do I think of the game itself? Well, I think it's a really fun time. It's definitely something that the franchise hasn't explored yet, and I really like the way they explored it. The whole multiplayer brawler collectathon idea is weird, but it's the kind of weird that once you get into it, works really well. Now, sure, we all know what the future of this game will lie into, as of course the whole Activision merger with Xbox is happening, but I've got a strong feeling that once the merger is done, and this game gets added to Game Pass and PS Plus, man, the amount of players that are going to jump into this game will increase, and I think that is going to be a good thing. Hell, I could even imagine this game going free to play in the near future, but then again, that's the near future. For now, this is definitely a strong start, and with content coming, well, as soon as content comes, I gotta say, I'm really enjoying this so far. Although with the small few issues I've got, and with the price point, I can only give this a 4 out of 5. I think the game is a really fun time, and it's definitely one of the best multiplayer games currently out there. But yeah, the price point to getting in, and the server problems I've experienced so far, they do dampen it a little, but overall, it's a fun time and a fun experience, and if you're someone who grew up with the Crash Bandicoot franchise, man, it's finally nice to see Activision take advantage of it. Seriously though, Activision has so many franchises that it's like, they don't even know what to do with them and just pedal on for more COD. I mean, COD is COD, it'll make money, even if the games have been fucking garbage since Ghosts, but... well, what do you expect? It's Activision, and Activision will do what Activision wants, but I do hope when Xbox comes in, they can finally teach Activision some respect, and, well, that's kind of the thing we gotta hope for. But, yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and as I always like to say, I will see you all next time. Take it easy, everyone, and I will see you all whenever that may be. Johnny!